All right, let me ask you something. What if you could record a human voice from absolute silence? I know, it sounds completely impossible. But one very strange experiment actually tried to do just that. This is the story of the circles in voice.
So get this. For 9 straight months, researchers were documenting this really mysterious audio anomaly they started calling the circles. I mean, it was this constant, baffling presence in their recordings. And then, just like that, poof, they were gone. As suddenly as they appeared, they vanished, leaving the researchers with one single driving question. So first, let's dive into what's being called the phantom circles mystery. At its core, this was really an investigation into a phenomenon that just seemed to defy any logical explanation they could think of.
And this was the central puzzle, the big question mark hanging over everything. Why did the circles show up in the first place? And then, why did they suddenly stop? I mean, there was no equipment failure, no changes to the environment they could point to. They knew they had to try something different.
Now, before they designed a formal experiment, the lead researcher kind of laid out a few initial ideas. And the source material is very clear here. This was pure intuition, not science yet. The ideas were pretty out there, from a test by spirits or ultra-terrestrials to maybe just an upgrade in their communication tech. But on one thing, they were absolutely certain. The recording equipment was working perfectly.
So, with all the usual explanations pretty much exhausted, the team turned to a truly unconventional experiment, an idea that, well, it seemed to defy the very laws of audio recording as we know them.
It sounds totally backwards, doesn't it? I mean, how can you possibly record a voice using a sound that is, by definition, inaudible? This was a really bold, almost bizarre approach, but it was born from a simple need for answers when every other door had closed.
To really get what's happening in this experiment, we have to understand a key concept: monofrequency. Basically, it's the purest, simplest building block of sound you can imagine. A human voice is like this complex soup of all these different frequencies, but a monofrequency, it's just a single, clean, solitary wave. That's it.
The source material uses a really great analogy for this. Think of it like this. Using a complex sound like a human voice for communication is like offering a whole cake. It's rich with all these different frequencies you can work with. But using a monofrequency, that's like offering one single crumb. And the researchers figured, hey, if anything could be made from that tiny crumb, it would have to be robotic and simplistic at best.
And the crumb they decided to offer was incredibly small. The experiment used a 4 Hz frequency. Now, to put that in perspective, human hearing only kicks in around 20 Hz. 4 Hz is way down in the infrasound range, a frequency so low that, to our ears, it is, for all intents and purposes, pure silence.
So what happens when you broadcast total silence into a room and then hit record? Well, the results were, honestly, astonishing. They defied every single expectation.
Okay, this right here is the crucial evidence. On the left, you see the spectrogram of the input, that simple, clean 4 Hz tone. And on the right, that's the output, the complex, structured, harmonic-rich waveform of a human voice. A voice was somehow created from a sound that contained literally 0 vocal information to begin with.
And this wasn't just some random noise or static. The voice that came through was coherent, it was intelligent, and it seemed to be directly answering questions from the investigator, Nilza, in real time.
So the big question is, what did this impossible voice actually say? Well, the transcripts give us a direct attempt at an answer to the original mystery of those phantom circles.
When Nilza asked point-blank why the circles disappeared, the reply she got was pretty cryptic. Celebrate later, project. The implication was pretty clear, though. The circles were part of some kind of deliberate project, and whatever its conclusion was, it wasn't time to celebrate it yet.
So, following her gut, Nilza asks if this project is a portal. And the reply is just stunningly direct, but with this weird little twist. Yes, in time. It's a strange phrase, right? It almost suggests that whoever or whatever is communicating isn't operating in the same linear flow of time that we are.
Nilza really pushes for more clarity here, asking specifically about a wormhole or a portal right there in the lab. And the voice just doubles down with this unambiguous confirmation, but again, with that strange qualifier. In time, I am confirming. So why did the circles stop? The voice's answer here is really intriguing. I am calling/phoning. The researchers kind of took this to mean that the communication method had simply changed, like switching from a big radio broadcast to a direct phone call.
But then came maybe the most dramatic statement of all, and it came totally unprompted. The voice just declared, "We evolved." So this wasn't just a change in technology. This was a fundamental leap forward, an evolution of the communicators themselves.
So after this absolutely incredible experiment, what are the key takeaways? Let's break down what the researchers believe they now know for sure.
So the source material really boils it down to these 4 certainties. First, the researchers are not in control of this. Second, their equipment is and has been working perfectly. Third, the circles appeared for a specific reason, that project. And finally, they paused for a reason, that evolution.
Ultimately, what this whole experiment suggests is something pretty profound, that a complex, intelligent voice was manifested from a simple, inaudible frequency. And it just leaves us with this final, lingering question. If a voice can truly be made from silence, what does that change about everything we thought we knew about communication?